What's going on, everybody? Welcome to this week's edition of Pigskin Picks. It's your host, Wayne Breezie. Mose knows. Man, Mose, I went backwards. I don't need you to shake your head like that. You're supposed to have a different feel. Like I know you want to win and beat me, but dang, I felt like I went.
I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah, but you don't always gotta agree, bro. Like, just do this one time. Like, be sorry. Like, damn, you sorry. Anyway, there's the record. I'm 66 and 56. And Mose is 78 and 48. He don't even have 50 losses yet. He will this week. I'm gonna make sure of it. I don't know how. But we're back, Mose. How you feeling, man?
Listen, man, I'm all right, man. I'm getting over a cold again. I can't believe I got sick again. Thankfully, it wasn't COVID this time, but getting over a cold, and our 49ers got a bye week, man. So I just got to talk about this briefly. I know this is not what we're here for, but I mentioned it before, especially after our trip to California, that Cowboys fans have taken over the number one spot of most hated fans. They took over that spot from Eagles fans, and that's really, really hard to do. Why are Cowboys fans in my inbox and in my DMs talking about y'all lost to the Bengals, y'all lost 3 in a row? Like, y'all lost to the Cardinals. Their only win is against y'all.
Yeah.
Like, don't talk to me, Cowboys fans. I don't want to hear nothing from y'all.
For some reason, I don't feel like the 49er fans do this to Dallas unless they beat Dallas. That's when we tax Dallas. Other than that, they're irrelevant. We don't care.
Exactly.
But when the Niners lose, the Cowboys will be in your DMs. The Cowboy fans, excuse me. Then this is just who they are. But you know what? Good luck this week. Anyway, so might be the game of the week too. By the way, we got a couple of game of the weeks. This is gonna be fun.
I think we got a couple.
We got a couple of game of the weeks. Let's start with Thursday.
I at least see 3.
I see 3. I see him with you. I'm looking at him. Start with Thursday night football. We got the Titans at the Steelers. We got big arm Will Levis, who threw 4 touchdowns in his debut. I mean, deep passes. 3 of his touchdowns were to Hopkins. He only had 4 receptions in the game, bro. So that means 3 of his 4 receptions were touchdowns.
Crazy.
Who you got, man? The Steelers going to be without Minkah Fitzpatrick. I'm just going to pick whoever you pick. I'm lost. I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, what Will Levis showed last week was absolutely amazing. I mean, granted, he did it against a Falcons defense that, has been up and down all season. I think this Steelers team, even without Minkah Fitzpatrick, is going to be a more formidable defense. And I don't think D-Hop's numbers will be like you mentioned. I won't think he'll have 4 catches, 3 of them being touchdowns. He might have to put in a little bit more work. I think it's going to be a good game. I'm hoping that we see a defensive battle and running games on both sides, kind of controlling the clock with Derrick Henry and Najee Harris. But I'm going to take the Steelers at home.
I want to pick the Steelers. I picked the Steelers last week because I thought I was going to get that win over Jacksonville. But what had happened was Minkah went down. And Trevor Lawrence still didn't do anything, but they couldn't stop that running back and Travis Etienne. Let me think about this. Will the Steelers be able to stop Derrick Henry, who hasn't really gone off this year? Short week. I'm going to go Titans here, man. You know why? Because it's Will Levis, and he's going to try to throw the ball. I don't think he knows how to do anything else but throw the ball. Great big arm. Let's see what happens. Let's see if the Steelers secondary can hold up. I'm gonna go Titans, bro.
Listen, I'm not mad at that. This one was actually a struggle for me. I actually was thinking about picking Tennessee, but I'm not mad at that pick.
And I'm hoping it's a Derrick Henry night, being that it's a short week. We got potentially a game of the week. the Dolphins at the Chiefs, both winning teams in the NFL, top 5 teams in the NFL. Dolphins kind of seem a little different now. The Chiefs seem a lot a bit different. Was it because of Patrick Mahomes and him having the flu? Don't ever put him in the GOAT category because if you can't play with the flu, you can never be the GOAT. All right, I'm putting it like that, and you know who I'm talking about. Dolphins at the Chiefs, Mose. Who you rocking with?
Oh, yeah, this one's tough because I'm looking at that Chiefs defense and I'm
Ramsey's
saying,
back. Ramsey's back.
who's covering Tyreek Hill? And then I'm saying,
Dang.
if this is a shootout, if this is going back and forth, who's the defense that's going to make a stop? And you're right. Jalen Ramsey's back. And if I'm picking defenses, I would pick the Dolphins defense over the Chiefs. With that said, oh, that's tough because I didn't imagine my 49ers losing 2 in a row. So the Chiefs losing 2 in a row. I mean, I can understand them losing to Denver, whether you want to blame it on Mahomes having a flu or not, them being on the road, altitude, whatever the case may be. Still,
And
that
divisional
Denver
game.
defense showed up, and it's a division opponent. This isn't a division opponent, but oh, this is tough. I got it written down. I'm gonna stick with it. This one was tough because I could go either way. I'm gonna go Chiefs just because I don't see them losing 2 in a row, and I feel like Mahomes is going to bounce back. I think if you talk about who's going to cover Tyreek Hill, then you also got to say, well, who's going to cover Travis Kelsey? This has a potential to be a shootout. I'm thinking 30 plus for both teams, but I'm going Chiefs at home.
You know, when I look at this game, you got two of the top offensive lines in football. You got two of the top quarterbacks in football. You got two of the top pass catching weapons in football. And I feel like their defenses are a push. I like the pressure and the stuff you're going to get from the Chiefs, but I like the secondary now of the Dolphins, especially with Ramsey being back. This is going to be a tough game. I have mine written down and already selected as the Chiefs. I'm thinking, does Tyreek Hill literally, he's gonna stick it to this team. This is a team that traded him. I'm gonna switch my pick and I'm gonna go.
Okay.
We in Germany at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Like
Oh
this is
yeah, I
a
forgot
Germany
about
game.
that.
And
Right.
it's fair for both. I'm going Dolphins here. Explosive offense against potentially the best quarterback in the NFL right now. I'm gonna go Dolphins. I'm gonna switch my pick. It is what it
That
is.
and that makes sense too because you got to think Mahomes coming off the flu,
Uh-huh.
still some residual, but then you got to travel
Uh-huh.
all the way to Germany.
Uh-huh. And if Taylor Swift isn't in the building, which she wasn't in attendance in this game, they lost.
Ah.
Ah, ah. Vikings, Falcons. I could care less.
Yeah, this
Rid-
one's tough.
Ritter benched.
Viking
Just a couple facts. Ritter's been benched,
Ritter's
and Kirk
benched
Cousins out for the season.
out for
And
the
Josh
season.
Dobbs is now the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if this happened on a bye and this was the game that they're playing coming out of their bye week, I would go Vikings just because they've looked to be playing better. If Josh Dobbs plays, I think whatever offense he's going to get is going to be very vanilla. If he doesn't play, then that means Nick Mullins is going to get the start until Dobbs is ready. And at least we know Taylor Heineke has been in the building, knows the offense. And the Falcons are a better team at home than they are on the road. So I'm going with the Falcons here.
I'm going with the Falcons as well. Let's go Cardinals, Browns. The one win Cardinals. No Kyler Murray. All right. Now that Josh Dobbs is gone, they're going to go with their rookie Clayton Tune. All right. And you got that still that defense of the Cleveland. The question is, will Deshaun Watson play or are they going to stick with PJ?
I would stick with PJ, let that
Oh,
defense
you
go
would.
crazy. Give me the Browns.
I have the Browns selected as well. Not changing that pick for nobody. All right, next up, we got Rams at Packers.
Packers showed a lot of promise early in the season. Um, I just I don't trust Jordan Love. They haven't been the same without Aaron Jones. I'm not sure if he's coming back this week or not.
He played
Um,
last week a little bit. He's
a
different.
little bit. Okay, so he
Yeah,
should be a little
minimum
bit
snaps.
healthier and
Hmm.
a little bit more into it. They are at home, but see what worries me about the Rams is that defense.
It does. You mean it? You mean as far as being great or being not great?
Not great because they're not very good right now.
Got you. I feel like their defenses
Um,
are a push. I mean, they both have injuries. Packers just lost Rasul Douglas in the secondary.
yeah.
The only thing that's for me, like what makes this game harder for the Rams is they just don't they can't establish a run game. With Kyron Williams being out there, I think he got 2 more weeks on the IR. So it's gonna be tough. And Matthew Stafford isn't as healthy. Packers are at home. They have to travel to Green Bay.
And
It's gonna be tough.
it's
It's a
not
tough
that
one.
it's not that it's not that cold. It's only gonna be 45 degrees. I mean, that
Okay,
might be colder
but
for
they
them
coming
because they're
from
coming
LA
from
though.
LA, but but it's not as cold as Green Bay could potentially
Right. It's
be.
not the frozen
I'm a
tundra.
I'm gonna go Rams just strictly on them having a better quarterback and offense right now.
Yeah, like I want to pick the Packers, but my pick is written down. I have the Rams as well, just because of the quarterback position. I think
Yeah.
Stafford will give better play than what he did a week ago. I know he's dealing with some type of injury, but they got to figure out how to establish a run game. And now that Henderson is there, I feel like they'll be able to figure it out. So I'm going Rams here. Commanders at the Patriots. Commanders, man, they lost two of their defensive edge rushers during the trade deadline. The Patriots defense looks like it's back. Um, and the Commanders defense, they give up a lot of passing yards. It's gonna be a tough one. Patriots at home.
Yeah, I mean, this probably isn't the best week to for to anticipate them giving up passing yards just because they're going up against Mac Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think the writing is on the wall for this Commanders team. I have a insider with knowledge that just he he knows what's coming, and we'll talk offline. But he apparently has inside knowledge that Adam Peters might be headed over there to become their GM. But um, I think the writing is on the wall for this Commanders team and this organization. Obviously, you start with the sale. They have new ownership in there. Um, I think there's going to be a complete overhaul based on the inside knowledge that I've gotten. New DM, new head coach, and to get rid of two of the really, really good young pass rushers in this league, I think morale on the team is down. I think that signifies that we're waving the white flag, get through the season as healthy as you can. And then we'll start to determine whether you're in our plans for the future. That doesn't bode well for players,
No,
them having to think about, will I be here next year? And if I won't be, where will I be? What other opportunities are out there? What other teams want me? What other teams do I want to go to? I think that causes a lot of confusion off the field, which doesn't translate to good football on the field. I'm going Patriots.
I'm going Patriots here as well. Home team. I know they lost last week, but I feel like they'll get it done. They were on the road last week. They'll figure out how to bounce back. They had to play the Dolphins and started off good, just didn't end well. But now they're playing with a team that struggles with scoring. I do think that Taylor Heineke is gonna. This is gonna be a down game, and not Taylor Heineke. Sam Howell. This is gonna be a down game for him. And the reason why I say that is like his play has been fluctuating, like one good game, one bad game, one good game, one bad game. And this might be that type of when they play the Bears where they just couldn't figure it out. But he's gonna put up good yards. I think the Patriots will find a way. They might even score on defense in this game. That secondary, the Patriots seems like it's getting locked in. And if it wasn't for a couple of bad calls in the Miami Dolphins game, I don't think that game would have got out of hand. And I think the Patriots would have ended up winning that game, but we're not gonna get there. Anyway, Patriots, Bears at the Saints. Speaking of the Bears. Who you got in this one?
I'm gonna go Saints.
Yep.
again, Justin Fields, it being up in the air for him whether he's going to play or not. Um, I know the Bears just got Montez Sweat, so that's a positive for them on the defensive side of the ball. But offensively, are they going to be able to score and put up points? As inconsistent as they've been, the Saints are finding ways. I think they need to continue to give the ball to Rashid Shaheed.
Mhm.
He is a speedster who finds a way to get open. Continue to feed him the rock. Continue to feed the ball to Chris Olave as well. And Alvin Kamara is contributing on the offense as well, both in the run and catching the ball out of the backfield. So I'm going with the Saints at home.
Same here. It's no brainer for me. Just don't think the Bears. I know that they've been putting up good fights. I still don't think they're able to establish some type of a run game that forces them to be one dimensional. I think the Saints just seem to be clicking now, especially with Kamara definitely being all the way back after his time off from football. They just seem like they're clicking, and Carr's looking a little bit better each week. Let's go Seahawks at Ravens. This is a potential game of the week too. Like for me, this is another one.
Oh, so you see four then,
So I see four.
or was this one of your three?
No, I see four.
Oh, okay. I didn't have this one as the game of the week category.
Can I just
Simply
give
for the
my
fact that
disclaimer?
yeah, go ahead.
Why I put this? Because the Seahawks are the leaders of the NFC West. They're at 5-2, and the Ravens are just a great team. So this is going to separate. Will the Seahawks end up be going 5-3 and getting beat by a great team, or will they find a way to put the Ravens down? The Ravens are at home. Seahawks are traveling to the East Coast. Mose, take it away.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest caveat for me is Seahawks traveling east. Um, they struggle when they have to travel, particularly to the East Coast. Um, you know, I don't count wins against the Panthers and the Giants because both of those teams are bad teams.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so when you play a good team, a perennial playoff team like the Baltimore Ravens are, I think you got to come with your A game. Will they try to? Of course, they're an NFL team. They're going to come out and try to play well. But I don't think they right now they match up well um, with the Ravens offense. And I think the Ravens offense is going to be able to do a lot. Zay Flowers, OBJ, Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews.
Whew,
Offensive line is getting a little bit healthier,
whew.
and Lamar Jackson is standing in the pocket and dicing people up. So, and that Ravens defense is the Ravens defense, and I think they're going to be able to get after Geno Smith, slow down Kenny Walker. Although I don't want that because he's on my fantasy team. I'm going Ravens.
I'm going Ravens at home. I just feel like, I mean, this doesn't take away from the Seattle Seahawks fans. Like, the team is good, the team is winning, but they're about to face a juggernaut. And it's what's
Yeah,
funny is, as a 49er fan, I have us going 13-4. Do you know who our fourth loss to me is going to come from? Could you guess?
you think you saying the Ravens?
I saying the Ravens. That's my fourth
Okay.
loss. So I think the Ravens, and I think that's my Super Bowl. Ravens Niners. Like that's my Super Bowl. All right.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. I know.
that's
People don't
bringing
want to
up
hear it.
bad memories.
Oh, I know. I know. I remember Buccaneers versus the Texans. Woes. Texans looked pretty mediocre last week. Um, the rookie couldn't get really into some type of a rhythm. I think they're giving up on Damian Harris, which I don't understand why. He did punch the ball into I thought he got into the end zone, but they said that it wasn't a touchdown. And it seems like Singletary is going to be taking over the bulk of the carries for the Houston Texans. They got to figure out their run game for CJ Stroud so he can activate. The Buccaneers look like the Buccaneers that we thought they were going to be at the beginning of the season, but they started off with a hot start. I'm curious to know what Mose knows about this matchup.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a tough matchup. I think both teams are dealing with injuries on the offensive line. You got Laramie Tunsil for the Texans, and you got Tristan Wirfs for the Bucks, both coming into this game questionable. So obviously, the protection of these two quarterbacks is going to be paramount. Um, both teams haven't really been able to run the ball well. They're kind of, if you look at both of the teams, if you look at their record, um, and what's going on here, they're kind of a mirror image of each other.
Agreed.
I think the Texans are getting better quarterback play from C.J. Stroud. I mean, he's throwing for 1,800 yards, 9 touchdowns, only 1 interception. And I feel like what's holding this offense back is the running game. But I think because he's been so efficient passing the football and limiting his turnovers, I think, D'Amico Ryans will get this team back on the right track at home against the Buccaneers. So I'm going Texans here.
I'm going Texans as well. I don't see CJ Stroud struggling against this defense, against that secondary. The Buccaneers defense is solid, but I think Stroud will get back into some type of rhythm. And that's what they got to do. They got to make sure that he's into a rhythm. They got to figure out who's going to be there with a running back situation. If it's Singletary, go Singletary, and then maybe use Pierce around the goal line. Whatever that is that they need to do, the Texans need to do it offensively, and they'll be just fine. We got the Colts at the Panthers. I'm just gonna pick the Colts. I just
Yeah, me
don't think.
too.
Yeah,
That's what I have written down.
but here's the
I'm not
thing:
overthinking it.
the Panthers didn't have any wins, and then last week against the who? Against the what? Against the where? How? Sway?
I don't know. I don't know.
Can they do it again? Will they do it again?
No. No.
I got the Colts.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, I don't know. This is not even worth the discussion. Speaking of discussion, here's the team I'm talking about. They had the Giants
Woo.
traveling to the West Coast to face the Jimmy Garoppolo benched Raiders. No more Jimmy. Experiment's over. They owe him money. He's gonna get paid this season and next season. And if a team will trade for him, I've been trying to tell people that he's a backup quarterback. That's
Yes, he
what
is.
he is, who he is. And if you have the money, the capital to pay for a backup quarterback, you want Jimmy in that role. He's the best backup quarterback in the NFL. But the Giants couldn't do anything. How many passing yards they had last week? 6?
It was something stupid.
Don't even look it up. It was 6, bro. I really think it was 6 passing yards, 6 receiving yards.
That's nutty.
So
That's
can
nutty.
who you got in this game, Mose?
To be
You looked it
perfectly
up,
honest
didn't
with you, no, I was about to. Hold on. Tyrod Taylor was 4 for 7 for 8 yards. That's not funny.
It is. Yes, it is.
Okay, Breezy, you are actually wrong. They did not
Okay,
have 6 yards.
my bad.
They had -9. They ended the game with negative passing yards.
How? A sack. A sack.
Well, 4 sacks to be exact.
But the sack at the end probably messed up his 8 yards.
Well, Tyrod had 8. Tommy DeVito had -1. So if you look at the
This
8
team.
-1, that's 7.
This team.
And then minus the 16, that's 9. That's
Poor Gi-
-9.
Poor Giants, Mose.
Yeah. I don't see how you come back from that. But more specifically, to keep it on a serious note, the Raiders have gone through a full overhaul.
Aiden O'Connell.
Got rid of the GM, got rid of Josh McDaniel.
Thank
They
God.
benched Jimmy Garoppolo. And the interim head coach is a former player in Antonio Pierce.
Former Giant.
Former Giant as well. So I think everybody in that locker room has the understanding that, listen, you can call it toxic masculinity, whatever you want to call it. But I think everybody in that locker room right now is like, okay, we got to step up as men. Is this something that we want? Do we want to be professionals? Do we want to make a name for ourselves in this league? Do we want to prove that we need to be here? Like, I think that's going through all of their minds. I think the speeches, that Antonio Pierce gives is going to galvanize this team. I think his players understanding that he's getting his first opportunity to lead a team as a coach against a team that he played for and made a name for himself with. I think all of that is going to build the emotional capacity to get them through this game. And the Giants, also waving the white flag, trading away Leonard Williams. We don't know if Tyrod is going to start or if Daniel Jones is going to start. Either way, this Giants team is a shell of what they were last year. And I think the Raiders at home, under new leadership and a new fire under themselves to prove that they belong in this league, find a way to get an emotional W against the Giants.
Listen, bro. I'm going to go Raiders. I'm going to go with the home team. That was a dope speech. It was definitely heartwarming. But I think now that I'm going Raiders. I'm going Raiders. I think they come out. This rookie Aiden O'Connell, he is going to come out. He's one of the most accurate quarterbacks that we've seen in the preseason. And he just knows how to get the ball out of his hands quickly. He's a quarterback. He is what you need to be as an efficient quarterback in the NFL. And I don't care if he's a rookie. I think he's going to come out. Expect Devontae Adams. Expect Josh Jacobs. Expect everybody on that team that has done stuff that can be what they are. Expect them to be activated and ready to go against the Giants. I still love the Giants defense. I think they play fast and furious, sort of kind of like how the 49ers used to play. They will blitz. They're going to try to attack this rookie in every freaking kind of way. Expect like a 90% blitz rate. But again, O'Connell's been efficient. And if he can continue to be efficient, I think they come out with the win. Here is a game of the week for sure. You got the Cowboys, girls, boys against the Eagles, Beagles, Sleagles. NFC East showdown, low down, mow down around town. Micah Parsons put out his weekly podcast clip video, talked about the Niners. And it was actually probably one of the ones I liked the most because he said that the 49ers, when we beat them, it humbled them. And then they figured it out, right? They went on their bye week, and then they were able to figure out who they were, blah, 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 blah. And he says now the Niners are getting humbled. And I felt like there was nothing wrong with what he said about that because that's what the Niners needed. They needed to be punched in the mouth and they need to kind of figure out like who they are, who their identity is. And luckily, unfortunately, it took us 3 games to get to the bye week to get to that soul searching where it only took them 1. But the Cowboys look good and Dak Prescott looked good and CeeDee Lamb looked like a top receiver in the NFL. But now they got to go up against this Eagles who are adding to that defense, adding to that secondary, and the leaders of the NFC East. Who you got, most?
Yeah, all that's well and good. George Kittle's shirt, F the Cowboys, give me the Eagles.
Yeah, like I don't want the Cowboys to win, but I want the Eagles to lose. I picked the Eagles. I'm debating. Ooh, what do I do here? I hate the Cowboys. I dislike the Eagles. I need both of them to lose. They both can't lose. Anyway, this game ends in a push.
Listen, let them beat the Cowboys because
They got a gauntlet. They got a gauntlet. They got a gauntlet coming up.
Yes.
Okay, well, say less.
Let
say
them
less.
get this win.
They got it. Eagles. Eagles. Okay. Fly, Eagles, fly. You better beat the Cowboys too. All right. It just got a dope ring to it, so kind of like maybe
it's probably the best fan anthem in all the sports, really.
It's got a collegiate feel. You know what I mean? If you listen to the collegiate
it
theme
does,
songs,
but then it does it. Like it's one of them that gets everybody involved, but it's like more mature, I guess, than like a collegiate one. Like it's not like school oriented or something that's like It's
I'm
like
thinking of Michigan where they
it's a tradition, but not a tradition. Like
got you.
Michigan, Ohio State,
Yeah.
Notre Dame,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
tradition that seems old. This is a tradition that's been around for a long time, but it doesn't seem old. It's
It's
always
not
like
it's
fresh
it's
every
it's
year for some reason.
timeless. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like how
yeah,
we want when we make music, we don't ever want it to
right,
seem like it's past its time.
right.
Another
Damn,
game of
are
the
we
week
really
just
giving the
popped up.
Eagles compliments?
I
Jeez.
mean, the music compliments. As far as their team, they could kiss my black. All right, here we go. Bills, Bengals, another game of the week.
Ooh, yeah, yeah. This is my
It's
third
Sunday
game of the
night
week.
football.
Sunday night football in Cincinnati. Listen, I know we haven't been playing great, but sometimes that's what you need. I learned this from my son's AAU coach. He was like, sometimes it's okay to play with the bums and drop 40 just to see that you could do it. And now I'm not equating my 49ers to bums. I would never do that. But we haven't been playing great. And a healthy Joe Burrow was able to see what it looked like him completing 5, 10, 15, 19 passes in a row, completing
It,
88% of his passes. Now this offense is humming. And one of the things that I learned is that Bengals defense might start slow, but unlike other teams that might start hot, start fast, or have to play good and then they taper down as the game wears on. For some reason, this Bengals defense gets more energy. They get more active. And I was able to see that firsthand. I think the Bengals started slow. Now they found their stride and they're kicking into full gear. The Buffalo Bills, I love them as a team. I love Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, but they are banged up on the defensive side of the ball, missing three of their top defenders. I think it's going to be a good battle, but I think the Bengals find a way to edge the Bills on Sunday night.
all right, I like that. I got the Bills on the road, and here's
Okay.
why. Um, Number one, Josh Allen. Number two, they got two pieces that they added. One on the offensive side, and Leonard Fournette. And they just added Rasul Douglas, who they traded for from the Green Bay Packers to help that secondary. And they definitely need it this week against a Jamar Chase, a Tyler Boyd, and a T. Higgins. The Bills defense still plays like a top defense in the league, Mose, with those pieces missing. That's crazy to me. I can't figure out how they're doing it. It's something about this Bills team. I think they still have that bad taste in the mouth from that AFC Championship game a couple of years back where they didn't get the win. I think because of that, Josh Allen's going to come out. I think the Bengals, yes, they played really well against the 49ers, but they're going to have to do it again this week, and they're going to definitely need a different game plan. The Bills defense is different. Von Miller is bar none top in the NFL. He's getting back into his football Von Miller shape. He's still effective on that defensive front. They're utilizing him properly. It's going to be a long day, in my opinion, for Joe Burrow. And this is no hate to them because I think this is a close game. Don't get it twisted. This is not going to be a blowout or a shootout. This is going to be defense. Offense is making mistakes. Close game. Watch. Maybe like a 17-13. Either way, I'm going to go with the Bills in this particular matchup on Sunday night football. We're going to cap this off with Monday night football. We got the Los Angeles Chargers at the New York Football Jets. So the Chargers are coming to the East, but they are loaded. They're loaded. Austin Eckler looks good.
Mm-hmm.
I still think they got one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL too. But the Jets defense, man, they won't give up. They won't bow out. So who you got in this game?
Yeah, it's going to be strength versus strength. It's Chargers offense versus the Jets defense. And that's going to be the battle to watch all night. When it flips, I don't think too many eyes are going to be on the Jets offense unless Zach Wilson decides to do something otherworldly. I think the Jets need to figure out how to get Brees Hall more involved in that offense. Kind of tough to do with some of the injuries that they're dealing with on that offensive line. And because of that, I think the Chargers will be able to slow them down enough, give Justin Herbert a few additional possessions. I'm going with the Chargers on Monday night.
Yeah, like I have the Jets picked, and everything is telling me go Chargers, go Chargers, go Chargers. But the Jets being at home helps them a lot. The Jets defense helps them tons of a lot. And Justin Herbert struggles against good defenses. Like the game can be close, and if it's a close game, he ends up like a Brock Purdy. Like can't capitalize and get the win for his team. Look, I'm gonna go with the Jets here. That's who I have picked. I want to pick the Chargers, but I'm gonna stick with the Jets. They're gonna improve to 5-3 this week. Mose. Robert Saleh is about to have a winning record for like the first time in his career. This is about to be crazy. I mean, he already has one, but 5-3, it's kind of start separating yourself, man. Mose, a lot of good games. If you had to pick one game of the week before we jump off here, which game would it be?
Ooh, I think because of the narrative around it, it's got to be Cowboys Eagles
I understand,
for
yeah,
me.
but I'm gonna go AFC, and I know exactly everything you're saying. I would have probably picked them as well, but just to be a little bit different, I'm going Dolphins and Chiefs. I want to see Tyreek Hill like literally beat the out of Patrick Mahomes and his former team, and stick it to Andy Reid and make Andy Reid go do something that he hasn't done in a long time. Eat some cheeseburgers or something. Like I just want to see Tyreek Hill go hamburger, no pun intended. Can he do it? Yes. Will he do it? Yes. Yes. I just think he's been unstoppable all season. But I do want to see if it'll be a shootout. Would it be Travis Kelce versus Tyreek Hill type of matchup? So I'm gonna go with that one. That might be the most exciting game. So I hope it's the most exciting game to watch. I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping. Also,
Especially
Jalen Hurts,
if I'm waking up at 9:30 in the morning to watch
especially
it.
if we're waking up early and I gotta watch that before church starts. Exactly. Just to put this out there, I believe Jalen Hurts is dealing with a knee injury.
That's what they said.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Mose, that's our picks for this week. I'm super excited. Football's here. No 49er football. We can rest mentally and just enjoy the week. Thanks for tuning in to Pigskin Picks. We'll be back next week. See y'all when we see y'all. Thanks for watching.